What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Banking on Cultura. I am your host, Victoria Jenn Rodriguez. And here we like to celebrate the vibrancy and complexity of Latino culture, entrepreneurship, and of course, all the bonchinche in between. And today's guest is heavy on the cultura mixed with business. So this is going to be good. I'm going to let him introduce himself in a little bit more detail. Pero Dean has been featured in Time Magazine, NBC, New York Magazine. He has an IG following of 126,000, a TikTok following of 950,000.7 with 20 million likes. Like, imagine if your content had 20 million likes. That is insane. So Dean Huertas is a content creator and advocate focused on bringing the diaspora y la isla back together. I love that. Welcome, Dean. Welcome to Banking on Cultura.
Wow, what an intro. I'm so blown away. You did your research, yeah.
Listen, you are doing incredible work in the community and for the cultura. So it is a real honor to have you on the show. So thank you so much.
It means very much a lot to be here with you. And I'm very honored that you chose me to bring me on your show. So it means a lot. Like just being here is a blessing overall. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, listen, my God put me here to be a blessing. That's what he does. So, okay, so let's start here because I actually had to ask this question of a girlfriend of mine because she kept using the word diaspora. And I was like, what does that mean? So can you explain to the people like what that means?
I would say, to sum it up, make it being arroyo habichuela, diaspora would mean when there's a native population that lives outside of their native land. So we, as New Yorkers, Jersey Ricans, whatever Floricuas that we got going on now, all of Puerto Rican descent that don't live in Puerto Rico anymore. So that would be a good sum up of what the word diaspora is overall.
Got it. Okay, amazing. And I see how you bridge the gap because you actually you actually educate the community a lot of the historical context with Puerto Rico, the connection between New York and Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. You even touched on something really interesting with everything going on with Palestine and how you made that connection to Puerto Rico and just our community overall, which I thought was really dope, by the way.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, man. I was like, ooh, this is good. This is good. Because a lot of people look at that situation as like, oh, that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
It's happening across the globe, has nothing to do with me. Right. I'm not part of that community.
Like they want to get involved, but then when you start realizing the similarities, you're like, wow, like we went through these similar things in our own country. So it's hard for me not to identify with what's going on. All the way across the world.
Yeah, I love it. So, we on Banking on Cultura are about bonchinche. So give us some bonchinche.
Oh, man. My big bonchinche I have right now is that this upcoming Puerto Rican Day Parade is going to be my last for a while. This is going to be my last.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Well, because you've been doing the parade for how many years?
A long time, but we'll say with the agency for 3 years in a row. And before that, I was either with my fraternity or I was with the activism community groups. But I'm now going to step back. After this one, it's going to be my last one, so I'm going to step away for a while.
Wow, the end of an era.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why?
Quite a few, actually, but I think one of the biggest ones is that I just feel like there's a higher calling for me right now, and I want to tap into untapped potential that I have. I want to start going into the movie industry in Puerto Rico, and I actually just filmed my first cameo in a film that's going to be releasing in Puerto Rico in September. So
what?
Yeah.
Y'all, we got a movie star. We got a movie star in Banking on Cultura. That's amazing. Yeah, congratulations.
So, thank you. So I think it's time for me to start tapping into something I've always wanted to do as a kid.
That is so cool. Mm-hmm. So you always wanted to be an actor as a kid?
I was too shy. I felt like the spaces for the actor community was not really my type of community, so I just never took that leap of faith. And now I think it's time for me to get out of that comfort zone, and just do it and stop wasting time,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think probably a lot of that has to do with the fact that you are famous.
That's one way to put it.
So tell us about that journey because you kind of blew up on social media after you took a stance, right?
Right. So my platform started when I just wanted to make a point overall of saying if there's 3 million people on the island, then there's something there in Puerto Rico because you get told your whole life there's nothing there. No hay nada in Puerto Rico. That's why everybody left. That's why there's more people living outside of Puerto Rico, this, that, the other. I'm just like, it didn't make sense to me. I was always a rebellious person. I'm just like, I need to verify why isn't there.
Right.
So I was just like, if there's 3 million, then that means there's something there. Whatever it is, career-wise, like life-wise, like whatever it is, I need to live life on my terms. So I just said, screw it. I went just to say, I'm a New Rican. I live in Puerto Rico. Nobody can tell me otherwise. And from there, I just started getting into the activism, things like that. And that was how I got my start, you know? And then I think what the blow-up was when I had to call this guy out, who was a gentrifier in Puerto Rico, that said all his friends that left Puerto Rico during a hurricane, that all his friends who displaced the local population, they up and left. So that left me with the question of, what happened to the locals? Where are we going to be during the hurricane? You left us without a roof, and now you're just going to leave us? Like, it's like things like that just me sacó por el techo, and I'm just like, ay, Dios mío. Like, so that's when I called this guy out, and that's when Dwayne Wade's wife liked my video on Twitter. Like, that went everywhere. Super controversial, but it was to make a point that gentrification is harming us in several different ways, and if nobody's gonna talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it.
Wait, Dwayne Wade, like, what's his wife's name?
I'm trying to remember right now.
Is it Gabrielle?
Gabrielle. Yeah, Gabrielle Union. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
She liked it. And then Bad Bunny's girlfriend at the time, Gabriela, shared my video on her social media page. And I was like, okay. Well,
oh, wow.
I'm about to get a lot of heat.
Yeah, that is amazing. You were talking about, like, the crypto boys, right? That were, like,
there was a lot of them was crypto. A lot of them was just either, like, passed down generation millionaires that just bought up land and decided to leave during the hurricane, you know? Which I don't blame them. Obviously, we got to take refuge for our own safety purposes. But if you're buying people out of their homes and then you leave when it's time of natural disaster, like, what happened to the people that you bought them out of, you know? Where are they going to go? Do they have a safe roof the way you took them out of their own safe roof? You know, things like that of what got me to just blow up. And
interesting. Okay, so you making the decision to relocate to Puerto Rico was because, what, you felt like there was something there that you needed to explore?
Yes. I feel like being born and raised in the Bronx, I love where I come from, but my dream was always to live there, always live on the island, just see what's out there. And I was just like, I need to know why people don't live, why people say there is an opportunity. And a lot of the times people say that it's just they're used to what they know already. We build a lifestyle here or in Florida, California. We don't see it anywhere else. So I get that. But I see people who are working 9 to 5s, 2 jobs, living this similar lifestyle of what a New Yorker would in San Juan. And I'm just like, okay, so there's work. You just got to work a little bit harder because the pay is not where it could be. But sacrifices have to be made and just budget right. But you can live a decent life, you know? And I felt like I don't want to live the top millionaire lifestyle. I want to live in Puerto Rico, whatever that looks like, whether I have an apartment or a home, whether I have a family out there. I will have a family out there eventually. I'm not there yet. I got to find a wife
because I
first.
Wanted some of that bullshit. No. Because now you center stage, you famous, you about to be a movie actor. Like, the groupies going to be outside.
Yeah. I mean, I'm single, ready to mingle, pop like a Pringle. And
you heard it here, Banking Cultura. Yeah, okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
Might have to auction you off. No, I'm just playing. Okay, so moved to Puerto Rico. You decided to become opinionated. And
right.
Did you speak the language fluently when you moved to Puerto Rico?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That was another thing. I lived in Panama for 3 months, so that kind of helped me, like, push myself to get out of my comfort zone, because at least in Puerto Rico, you can get by with Spanglish.
Yes.
And in Panama, it's just, like, Spanish first. You're like, you with us or you against us. So I had to, like, go through hell and learn. So I feel like after a year and some time of just throwing myself in the mud, messing up in public or just having conversations, it came naturally after just many errors. But now I feel way more comfortable speaking in Spanish now than if you would ask me like 3-4 years ago.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you moved to Puerto Rico, you took a stance of these kind of like finance bros and just people with money.
That's a good way to
moving
say it.
to the island.
Right.
You went viral. You started getting all this attention. Were you happy about that? Were you nervous about that?
I was actually very happy medium, because I knew it was gonna go viral, but I don't want my face to be the face of like an angry person, you know. But I feel like I just had to let off some steam. I couldn't just let it fly, because you see me right now, we're having a nice conversation. I'm very chill for the most part, but I feel like that kind of set the stamp of what people see me as online, how I'm going to attack everybody. Like, I will fight. And I'm just like, I am a fighter, but I'm a lover too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that was going to come back with some backlash. I knew probably some brands that probably saw me and then just were turned off by it, or other brands that came on and they just wanted to see what I'm about, see how they can work with me, other companies, businesses, podcasters in Puerto Rico. Like, it was like one door closed, but several more opened at the same time.
Interesting. You know, this is something that we try to drive home here on the podcast about, like, authenticity and being comfortable in your own skin,
Right.
and how that will allow your people to find you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
when you said that you had brands that left, but you also had opportunity that came in, I think that's really important, because one of the brands that you had the opportunity to work with, you had shared with me that you felt was inauthentic. Can you share that story?
Right. So,
What's up, mi gente? Are you looking for mentorship and the place to secure the big bag? Have you ever watched me here on the Banking on Cultura podcast and thought to yourself, you know what? I want to work with Victoria Jenn. Or maybe you thought to yourself, I want to be a part of her network of badass women and entrepreneurs. Well, guess what? You absolutely can. Join me this November 15th through the 16th in the heart of New York City for my 7th annual Secure the Big Bag and Wellness Summit. Let's face it, so many of us are tired, burnt out, ready to throw in the towel, honey, and quite frankly, we want to dedicate ourselves to the soft life. But what if there was a way for us to achieve both time and financial freedom and also have a healthy, well-balanced life? What if you could secure the big bag, build a business that fuels you versus drains you, as well as build a solid network of business besties who want to support and motivate you while also centering self? This summit is the premier destination for the latest marketing, sales, and AI tools that can 10x your business while also nurturing your well-being. Learn from top experts from both business and wellness, including executives from the corporate sector, so that you can explore corporate-level opportunities that can elevate your business to new heights. Ensuring you're not just prepared, but fully equipped to dominate in 2025 and beyond. This is your opportunity for your business to thrive while you do too. Head over to securethebigbag.com to check out the agenda and all the heavy hitters that will be in the building. I cannot wait to see you in New York City, mi gente. It's go time.
And this is all love. Axe, by the way. When I grew up in high school, Axe. Well, my first big brand was Axe body spray. And they were very upfront. They said, we would love to collab with you. Just do one video. We'll give you X amount of dollars. I'll get back to you on the price. I don't remember.
Oh, because we gotta share dollars here.
Yeah, we got to. We
gotta be money transparent.
I got you. But I feel like at the time when I was, working, just got laid off one job and I was in transition to another, so I was really dependent on that check that was going to come through, which was enough. It was my first time dealing with like a reputable brand, so I was like, how do I still stay true to myself but also market this brand that they gave me? Because they mailed me can of spray of Axe body spray, and they said do something. They had a theme too. They had a thing. They wanted to pay me X amount of dollars to do something they want their way, and they were asking for a lot of editing after the first attempt. So I think maybe I could ask for more. Maybe I could have gotten paid more, but because it was a lot of work for just one video. And it was like they paid with the W-4, the W-9, whatever. So it took like 30 days after the video to get posted to then get paid. So it was like a big gap in between. But it was my first time. I was nervous. They actually sent me suggestions of what I could do to sort of like fit the theme, the ad. And in doing so, I felt like I lost a little bit of like my authenticity, trying to like put on a character who I wasn't at the time. And I feel like that's what kind of like maybe dropped a little bit of my following, a little bit of like putting
like
on a
what?
fake face.
What was it? Like, what did you have to do that was?
It was just like me being in a workplace, like how to be successful, like, and just putting on Axe body spray without saying like try out Axe body spray. But you just have to see me putting on the spray, and then just all of a sudden your ego is boosted, or you have a better vibe, or something like that.
Oh,
So it was like
yeah,
putting
that
on a
definitely
skit.
does. Yeah, that doesn't. I probably what would have worked better if like you just got off the baseball field or something and
Right.
you put it
You know,
on.
that's what I'm saying. I always think about it. So it's just like I could have done so many different things after, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was like, I was like, for me, I felt like it was a good experience. It was a little bit of a crash and burn, but now I know when I do other brands and other content moving forward, how I can stay true to myself, but how I can also sponsor this brand. So I've seen so many content creators, they get super creative. I'm just like, damn, like I could have done that. I could have done that. I see so many people interviewing in the streets, or give a little historical context, or being like a little comedy skit. There were so many different ways, and I feel like I was just so focused. I'm just trying to be the perfect image, when I was, in doing so, negating my true self.
I love that. I think we all have those learnings that come up where we have
it
to
needed
like,
to happen.
like where we're tested and we're challenged, like our identity, and we have to decide, like, okay, am I gonna play their game, or am I going to play by my rules?
Right.
Because that's what got them to come to you in the first place.
Exactly.
Your style, right, and your outspokenness and all the things. So what were some other lessons learned? Like, so how are you having conversations with brands now, given what you've learned from that?
Now it's more like I'm conscious of how they see me, because with Axe, they just saw the numbers I have, but they didn't know the type of content creator I was. In terms of now, when I have other brands that want to reach out to me, they're conscious of who I am, being the Latin face, the Latin dollar. They're conscious of what I can bring to the table and my energy that they want. And now they're asking me what are my rates, and I set the rate. I feel like I could do more. Right now, I would say this is something you should keep in mind too. I'm going to mention this. I have a rate for, let's say, $2,500 for one video. $2,500. But when it comes to local brands in Puerto Rico, I understand the local businesses are struggling out there. You know, they don't have financial means, so I give them a break.
Okay.
I give the local brands a break in Puerto Rico, because I understand that, you know, they don't have USA money, even though they have their own money. So I always try to make it happen medium. So in terms of brands in USA, they'll get full amount, but brands in Puerto Rico, like half, or sometimes even a quarter. But I'll make sure that there's going to be some setbacks with that.
So, okay, so $2,500 a post. And, like, what does that come with? Like,
comes with a one-time video in terms of a share on my story, and then that same video will be posted on TikTok as well, and a share on the story as well on TikTok.
We got to increase that.
Yeah, I realized over time.
We definitely got to increase
got to increase it. I think
your
we're
following,
going up more, yeah.
I would be like, it's 5,000.
Right.
5,000
off the bat,
minimum.
Right. I think it's time
because your engagement is also very high, which is going to push the awareness even more. You will have credibility with your audience. Like, there's like a trust factor there that brands die for.
Right.
And want to be a part of. And you know what I've learned? And it's the same thing, like, I do a lot of corporate contracts, right? And when they ask me for my pricing, they always like have this face. And what that tells me is that my peers in the business is giving them a lower price. And what that does is it brings the overall market value down. So even though it might be your first opportunity, so you're like, oh, I don't know what to, price this as, or it's my first one, I don't want to be greedy.
Right, right.
You price yourself low and you think, oh, well, so what? I got my first brand deal.
That's the cultural mindset that we're taught to be humble in the Latin community, that we have to be humble. It's no sea un lambón. Like, don't be asking for too much, because we're always taught to like have a set standard. But in this industry, I'm just like, why not just reach for the stars? What's wrong with that? You never know until you try, type stuff. So I think it's something that is a learning that has to be undone at the same time.
Yeah, it's a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
For sure, because a lot of us come from humble beginnings, so we're not used to asking for $5,000 for a 30-second video. Like, we're not used to making those type of asks. So it's like crazy when you get a brand to like pay you that. I remember when I locked in my first 6-figure contract, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I pulled this shit off.
Yeah.
Like, I used to make this in a year, and now I just did it like
it's here
in less than a year. I'm like, oh shit, like this is crazy. But
Right.
Once you do it once, then you know.
You can't go back. You can't
go
back.
Then you know, oh shit, this is possible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you're never going to know
Until
that that's possible. And you're going to get no's. Like, if you increase your price to $5,000, I'm pretty sure you're going to get no's.
Right.
But you're going to have such a strong business case that there's going to be a brand that's going to say yes, especially with Hispanic Heritage Month coming up.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Especially with Hispanic Heritage Month coming up, because that's when brands want to really get in front of the community. It's like, oh, okay, you want to leverage the community during this time where it is the premium time to be in front of our community. And I don't see you doing this all year round. So you know what? During Hispanic Heritage Month, it's $8,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
twice
saying?
the price.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are the prize. Like,
right.
So Latinos have a 3.4 trillion buying power. We are the largest community that's consuming content. We're the largest community that are making purchases online. And we tend to make purchases when we see somebody who looks like us.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're the largest consumer of video content. So if you think about it, like, we are the prize.
Yeah.
Like, you hold the bag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you hold the value.
That's true.
So you gotta up those prices, because what that will do will not only put more money in your pocket, but it will also raise all the content creators up, because now they know, like, no, this is the minimum price. Right? For so long, I feel like they've been trying to set the price for us. And we've just been like, oh, okay, because we're just so, like, gassed to, like, work with a brand. And we're like, oh, shit, like, this is crazy. Like, axe what? Yeah. Right? But really, like, we have the power to set the price.
That's true.
Right?
So I feel like this is a motivational speaking. It means a lot. No, it really does mean a lot, because sometimes I just get so caught up in, like, what if they say no? Or it's just like, but I had to realize that just because you can work with it, but it doesn't mean you have to, you know? Like, if you know your value, know your worth, don't settle for less.
Totally. And, like, yo, I would fucking die for your community. Like, you have such an amazing community that, like, supports you, that engages with your content, that, like, looks forward to the education that you provide them. Like, that's powerful. Like, double down into that for sure. Listen, and if you could call me if you need a pep talk before I be like, no, you better ask them for $8,000. You better ask them for $8,000.
I got you.
Shit. Okay, so I want to go into what would be your advice for content creators. What's up, mi gente? Are you looking for mentorship and the place to secure the big bag? Have you ever watched me here on the Banking on Cultura podcast and thought to yourself, you know what? I want to work with Victoria Jenn. Or maybe you thought to yourself, I want to be a part of her network of badass women and entrepreneurs. Well, guess what? You absolutely can. Join me this November 15th through the 16th in the heart of New York City for my 7th annual Secure the Big Bag and Wellness Summit. Let's face it, so many of us are tired, burnt out, ready to throw in the towel, honey, and quite frankly, we want to dedicate ourselves to the soft life. But what if there was a way for us to achieve both time and financial freedom and also have a healthy, well-balanced life? What if you could secure the big bag, build a business that fuels you versus drains you, as well as build a solid network of business besties who want to support and motivate you while also centering self? This summit is the premier destination for the latest marketing, sales, and AI tools that can 10x your business while also nurturing your well-being. Learn from top experts from both business and wellness, including executives from the corporate sector, so that you can explore corporate-level opportunities that can elevate your business to new heights. Ensuring you're not just prepared, but fully equipped to dominate in 2025 and beyond. This is your opportunity for your business to thrive while you do too. Head over to securethebigbag.com to check out the agenda and all the heavy hitters that will be in the building. I cannot wait to see you in New York City, mi gente. It's go time.
My advice for content creators, I would say you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. As cliche as that may sound, but you have to start learning new things. Just because you are set in your ways, just because you know some things work this to your advantage, doesn't mean that there's new ways that you can learn how to be better at certain things of what you do, you know? And it's going to have to cost you to sometimes speak in front of Times Square, like where 1 million people are watching you pass by as you're recording yourself. It's going to have to come with sacrifices. But at the end of the day, those sacrifices are the ones that are going to put you on the pedestal that you want to see yourself at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that requires sometimes digging through mud, that requires saying no to a lot of things, that requires you to have to learn something you never taught before. That's something you never taught at school, something you never taught in college, universities, but something that only you know this will work for you, and that's going to propel you to the next level. So I would say, don't be afraid to learn new things. Don't be afraid to take that risks. And if you're like me, moving to Puerto Rico, that you didn't speak Spanish first, but you're willing to learn at the same time, you're going to elevate your status, you're going to elevate your resume, and you're going to be a better person than you were the first time you walked through that door.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not just content creators. It's like if you're a business owner, like you need to be on the content scene in some way. Some way, especially if you're like the face of your brand and that's how you're starting, like you need to be outside. Like people need to see you. They need to know what you're about. Where do you get inspiration for your content?
Oof, that's a good one. You know what? We've gotten better with it now. But I feel like at the beginning when, Instagram just started or Facebook just started and we see these Viners, these creators, or like these like Puerto Ricans be like posts, I died at some of the cringe that I saw with our representation on social media. I hated it so much. I was just like, it was just like we wear like there was this one meme I'll never forget that was what was it? Puerto Ricans hold patele like it's drug money. I was just like, do we have to like
what?
Yeah, I know it was a guy holding patele like a drug. That was funny at the first, but I was just like, we need to do better. And then the little representation that we had of like some of the content creators that have now elevated their status today. At the beginning, there's like there wasn't that many, and I didn't like the representation that we had on social media. That was my inspiration. I was like, if nobody's gonna represent our community the way I want to see it, then I'll have to step up to the plate. That was my mindset as terms of if I don't see nobody doing it, all right, I'll do it because I want to see that we're not just like cafre, ghetto trashy, nothing like that. We are educated. We are elegant. We have something to offer to the table, And I love, and it's not to downplay, our upbringing, because as somebody from the Bronx, I'm not one to talk, but I want to see like a great representation, being English and Spanish representation. I want to see it all, but on a grand scale where it's just like everybody knows that this is a funny Puerto Rican, that we're reputable Puerto Ricans, that we're not just reggaetoneros, traperos, that we are also businessmen and we're hustlers too, And I think that was my drive, that I didn't like what we had in the beginning, so I was like, all right, we're gonna be educated at the same time, So that was like my niche to starting.
I love it. And now, like, where do you get your inspiration for your videos? Like, what is your thought process when you're thinking about like what you're gonna talk about?
I think it's just that when I see a lot of misinformation, these AI bot videos, it's like non-Ricans talking about my history, but it's going to fit their political propaganda, all that stuff. I'm like, whoa, where do you get the balls to talk about my people? No, you don't know all the facts. Like, I'm going to correct you. And it's been happening more and more, like these new AI-generated videos where they think they talk about my history. I'm like, sorry, no. I will put you in your place. I'm actually a Puerto Rican, and you're spitting misinformation. It's that I think that's what drives me more now. That's my inspiration because there's so many false information out there that a lot of Puerto Ricans want to be a state. A lot of Puerto Ricans like live off food stamps. I'm like, no. We are working class people. Not a lot of us want to be a state. And if you're gonna talk about our people, make sure you talk to me first. I want to be that. I want to be the guy that you talk to first before you say anything about my community. There's a passion in that
drop. Oof, my goodness. Okay, so first inspiration comes from misinformation that you're seeing out in the marketplace.
Right.
But like, how do you creatively like think about like do you think about like, is this gonna engage my audience? Is this gonna pop? Is this gonna like?
I think of what are fun facts. Like, did you know X, Y, and Z? Did you know we did this? Did you know that we're contributors to that? Because it's like we don't always see ourselves on the front line. So I'm like, okay, we are reggaeton. We are also, we broke a lot of Guinness World Records. Did you know that the #1 stream song in the world, Despacito, will be a Guinness Golden World Record? We have not one, but 20 Guinness World Records broken because of that one song, Despacito.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A lot of that. And did you know, what's another one? I'm just spitting random fun facts. Did you
You're
know,
like Snapple facts right now.
Right?
You just got like random facts.
Another one. Did you know there is not one Olympic gold medalist that is a male? The only gold medalists for Puerto Rico are only females.
Oh, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of your strategies are did you know hooks.
Mm-hmm.
So what's another strategy?
Oh, I would say the did you know hooks are the best, but also when it comes to international representation, how can I link Puerto Rico like I did with Palestine? How can I hook international? Because when you start bridging the gap of the communities together, it's like the flags, the colors are what's catching the audience first. Because when you have the red, white, and blue Puerto Rican flag, then you have the Honduran flag, the Dominican flag, the Palestinian flag. I think colors are like key to catching the eye first. So then how can you catch those colors and bring some facts that come with the flag, the history, keynotes, all that together? And I think that's been one of my biggest strategies to how to catch the eye first, because that's why I use my background images, because a lot of people, they can't just sit in a classroom and be educated. Oh, this is 1898, this, that, the other on a chalkboard. It never worked for me. It never worked for me. But if you got pictures, you got images, you got videos, I learn better that way. And I feel like if that can work for me, that can work better for my audience too.
So you do a lot of like visual components
exactly.
on the videos. What software are you using to edit your videos?
Actually, TikTok is majority of my videos, but I also have this app called Villo. And I would love to work with them. Villo, I'm coming for you guys.
Oh.
I got this app called Villo. I do all my editing like if it was a full-blown computer, but it works right off my phone. Anything you want to do with video editing, audio, software, all that stuff is in that app, Villo.
VILEO?
VLLO.
VLLO.
Mm-hmm. Villo.
So,
I pay a monthly subscription of like $5, $6, $7.
Okay.
And it's bueno, bonito y barato, and it does the job.
Okay.
Everything I want to do, I have full access to do it.
And what's the spelling again?
VLLO.
VLLO.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. I've never heard of that. I'm going to check that out.
Look into it.
Okay. But TikTok is also good for a lot of your...
When I had to do the face cameras, or if I have to chop some things up, I'll do it on TikTok. But Villo is my best friend.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you finding yourself loving TikTok more than Instagram right now? Or
I'm going to have to start cutting the strings soon, because whatever happens with the United States and TikTok, I might have to say sayonara very soon, so that's something that I unfortunately have to come to terms with. I love TikTok more because I feel like I feel free. I can express myself, nobody cares, and if it bops or flops, I don't care. It's like I just want to say whatever I want. Now in terms of Instagram, I've already built a reputation of being the historian, the education man, and I want to keep that light going, but I also want to be a little comedian once in a while. I want to be doing collabs. I want to be a little cook, like when I work with Beatrice. Shout out to Beatrice.
Okay.
Things like that. But in terms of TikTok, I post a million videos like a day, a week. It's like I can express myself freely there, and whatever happens. And I take those, but strategy wise, whatever best video I have from TikTok, that goes on Instagram.
Oh, interesting. You know what I'm finding? Like videos that I think are gonna pop on Instagram, never. They pop on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But videos that are popping on TikTok doesn't pop on Instagram. It's like I got this love-hate relationship right now.
It's an algorithm.
Yeah, it's so annoying. It's like, and it'll really mess with like your mental health, because it makes you feel like you can't create good fucking content because it's not getting seen, and you internalize it and you're like, yo, like, what the hell? Or you start like me, I'm like, yo, what's up with my community? Like, they don't love me no more.
Right. It can honestly feel like that. It can feel like an existential crisis.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, what's happening? You guys don't love me.
Yeah, right. Like, what happened, guys? I thought we were cool.
Right. I thought he was here.
I'm having a light skin moment.
For real. I'm like, yo, am I going to have to see a therapist about this? No, but it's like, it is annoying. It is trying to like keep up and manage. But I do believe in the power of building a brand on social media. Right. So regardless of how much I complain or how I feel, like I'm still going to show up. And it's like, whoever's meant to see it, freaking sees it.
Exactly. That's just a lot of the videos I have on TikTok that you'll never see on Instagram. It's just like whoever sees it, it doesn't matter anymore. Because at the end of the day, there's several factors to being a content creator on TikTok, because the For You page is usually the page where you first open and it's a random person's video. That's the page you want to be on. However, it's a random selection. That's one of the key things. I've been on TikTok when it was called Musical.ly.
What? It used to be called Musical.ly?
It used to be called Musical.ly.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Then it got bought out by another company. Then they transitioned it into TikTok. But unfortunately, with how it works with the For You page, it's like a AI per se, and it randomly selects what could be the next best hit, next best video. Or that's one factor. The other factor is that if you're, like you mentioned earlier, if your followers are supporting you, or if they're sharing it, or if they're sending it off to other people, or if you're controversial like me, and I have a lot of problematic followers, which I love them so much, that if I say do my controversial videos, they send it to people on the opposite wing, or the people that have opposite views of them. Be like, look at this, you're wrong. He said it because he's wrong. So it starts like a putting match in a box of fireworks. So a lot of my growth and momentum has been to a lot of my followers. So I appreciate y'all, because they, like me, they want to start some problems. So they just start sending videos to like their family members, people they hate, and they're like, yo, look at this, look at this, look at this. And even people who hate me, they started sending it to people who hate me even more. And they're just like, oh, look at this guy, look at this schmuck over here, and things like that. So it works in my favors, where it shares and controversy in my favor.
Yeah, I think that's a strategy. Like, I feel like controversial content always performs better.
It does. I've learned how to now play my part in doing it a little arroz y habichuela. I'll still throw my little jabs in there once in a while, but I still like to be very informative. I still want to make sure my message gets across, you know?
Interesting. So how can we be controversial but informative?
I would say take three important facts that are relative to each other, and use it as a story that you can tell, but also make it your foundation to why you stand for what you stand for, you know? And that what you stand for is going to be the controversial part, because if you believe, whether left, right wing, whatever ideologies, but if you have three facts that prove it, that's what's going to sort of gain the momentum, because nobody can deny facts. You know, you can't deny history that has been proven for thousands of centuries. When I talk about independence movements of Puerto Rico, this happened, and this happened. You can't say, no, that didn't happen, because I have the proof, and this is my proof, is why I stand on my beliefs. So I think we have at least three. All you need is three. 3 facts, 3 solid, like, damn, like, you can't argue it. You're going to get somebody mad, and they're going to start throwing low blows at you, but it doesn't matter, because they're just throwing anger. They're speaking with passion and emotion. You're speaking with facts. That's the key.
Interesting. And what if it's, like, not fact-based?
That's the hard part. Because then sometimes you got to take that L. Sometimes you got to take that L. But if you still believe in what you want to believe in, there's alternatives to how you can go about it. I think if there's, like, one mistake out of the 3 facts, at least you got 2 right. 2 out of 3, you know? That's why I say you can't just have one. You need 3 overall.
Can folks make a living off of content creation? Like, do you think would you advise someone to do that?
I would say it's a hassle. It's a hassle. If you want, you know what you want, and you want to put your best foot forward, it's possible. I know a lot of people who quit their jobs just to take this full time. I got fired from my last job, which was like almost 2 years ago. And that boosted me into just becoming something who I am today. And it required me doing the sacrifice of not having to work, having to go out less, having to budget more.
Is that why you're single?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. It's probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just maybe I haven't gone outside as much.
Like, listen, are you treating? I'll go outside. If not, sorry, I can't do it.
Babe, can you take care of the tab? I got you the next one.
Hilarious. Okay, yes. Let's go into the Talk That Talk segment where we address something taboo in the cultura. Is there anything you would like to address here?
I'll give you a fact.
And this is a good, because he's like historian. Yeah. So this is a good one.
Did you know in June 23rd of 1960, that's when the birth pill was originally released, right?
The birth control pill.
Birth control pill. Do you know how they got it, though?
I don't.
So 10 years before that, they were experimenting and euthanizing and sterilizing Puerto Rican women before that. And they had to do nonstop tests, and they sort of coerced our ancestors, into sterilization, forced sterilization. And through years of like testing, failures, all the things along the lines like that, is what led them to the 1960, the official release of when these birth control pills started working. And so that's when they were FDA approved. That's when they were able to distribute it to women who wanted to take birth control pills or had a slip up, things along those lines like that. But it was our Puerto Rican woman first that had to go through the sterilization, forced sterilization, being coerced into being euthanized, to have to sort of population control on the island of things along the lines of not being able to have kids anymore. We would have had a population today of maybe 10, 11 million Puerto Ricans today. But because of the 1950s forced sterilization that took place in the island, we are now at only 9 million Puerto Ricans today. Little fun fact.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when it comes to our women being on the front lines of a lot of things, I have to give a lot of Puerto Rican women credit, because it was like they went through the sacrifices. I think of stories like that, it makes me sick to my stomach to believe that they were coerced into being forced to being sterilized. Couldn't have kids anymore. Some of them wouldn't even know if they were already pregnant and didn't even know it.
But how'd they do that? Like what they
There
do?
were some sort of tests that were being ran sort of by a lot of corporations, I'm not going to say. But needless to say that they used us as guinea pigs first and see how they could work on our woman first. And then once it was FDA approved, then they were able to ship it on an international level. But those
now
tests,
that I'm thinking about it, aren't there like a lot of pharma companies that are like have offices, even headquarters in Puerto Rico?
quite a few. Quite a few. You look at the COVID vaccines, they got their start in a lot of headquarters in Puerto Rico.
Interesting.
A lot of the three brands, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Moderna.
Moderna, yeah.
All being made at PR first.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Wow. So I think something that's taboo in the cultura, or even not even outside of our individual cultura, but just American civilization, is understanding the significance that Boricuas have played, like, in this country.
When they say we don't export anything, that's not true. We actually sacrificed our women to make sure that you guys are able to now have safe sex, have a population control, or just, want to have kids, you don't have kids, birth control. That's because of our women. It's hard because nobody ever wants to talk about it, but that's a fact that needs to be taught in school, I believe.
I believe so too. That's like a part of history.
Right.
And it's something that is used to this day. You know what could be some good content and could be your did you know that's linked to what's happening right now are all these states who are trying to take away women's rights as it comes to how they control their body or how they choose to, how they view having children, etc.
Right.
Like I could see that being like,
and there was a time too that even then, after everything that was said in the 50s, there was actually a law that was attempted to be passed to prevent abortions in Puerto Rico as well. Because referring to that, we have our own judicial system. But even then, a lot of the political leaders were following that ideology and were trying to implement it in Puerto Rico too. They failed because we're a bit more progressive than that, because it's a woman's body, woman's choice. So that sort of failed. But they did attempt that for a little bit too, unfortunately.
Interesting. Wow. See what happens when we have a historian thinking on cultura? Like, you get all these facts. I love it. So tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Huertas Dean PR. That's HUERTAS DEANP to the R.
P to the R. And what's next for you?
I think the next step...
besides being a movie star.
I think the next step is, talks right now of going to possibly represent Puerto Rico on social media in the Olympics in Paris 2024.
What? That would be fucking sick.
Yeah, yo. So
my God.
Fingers crossed.
You should tell them that you need a guest pass.
Like,
you need to bring someone on your team to help you with the social media. Yo, I'll pay for myself to go. Don't worry.
Gotcha. We'll coordinate.
Or no, we'll make them pay. I'm pretty sure they pay for you to go.
Yeah. we can work some details out, you know what I'm saying?
For real, like, we should coordinate
They said
that.
in Spanglish content creator, I say, ¿Qué es la que hay, puñeta?
Exactly. Like, let's go, you know? Female, male perspective. Like, that could fly. Like, I could see that being a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for being on Banging on Cultura. And
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Because
Oh, shit.
it's directly from Puerto Rico. I want to
What's
give this to you.
Ooh, ¿qué es esto? What's
Coffee,
this?
Café de Oro.
Oh, my goodness.
Straight from our backyard, El Patio de Puerto Rico. The TSA tried to fight me with it. That's why you see the wrap on it.
I see the sticker.
But I made sure that I was able to send this over to Puerto Rico in time. From Puerto Rico to New York to you. So
Oh, my God.
that's my little gift too. So this is my little thank you gift right here.
Thank you so much. That's why you asked if I like coffee.
I asked her earlier before we started recording. I was like, "Do you like coffee?" And she said, "I do." I was like, "Good to know."
Yes.
Good to know, because if not, I would have kept that under there the whole time.
Cafecito girl.
Yes.
Ah.
Café de Oro. Bien fuerte. So.
Thank you so much. Ooh, bien fuerte. Okay.
So, you know, take little sips.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. I'm very excited about this. Like, you have no idea.
Yes.
Like, I love. So, how do I make this? I put it in like the thingy.
Yeah, you gotta do either la greca. Do you have a greca still?
I actually don't,
we gotta
I'm
get you on that.
I'm bougie. I'm modernized now.
I mean, you got the OG coffee maker too. They have these Keurig cups that you can like pour a little bit of like dirt coffee in there too, and like
I have a French press.
Pues there you go. There you go. That's gonna be strong because people don't.
Mad strong,
That's gonna be
right?
mad strong. So if you need a boost kick to your day. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I feel like this is like a family affair. I got to bring this to like my family's house, and after dinner, I'm gonna be like, "Let's make some cafecito for Puerto Rico."
That's from me to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
Appreciate
so
you.
much. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hasta el próximo, gorillo. We outside.
Hey! What's up, mi gente? Are you looking for mentorship and the place to secure the big bag? Have you ever watched me here on the Banking on Cultura podcast and thought to yourself, you know what? I want to work with Victoria Jenn. Or maybe you thought to yourself, I want to be a part of her network of badass women and entrepreneurs. Well, guess what? You absolutely can. Join me this November 15th through the 16th in the heart of New York City for my 7th annual Secure the Big Bag and Wellness Summit. Let's face it, so many of us are tired, burnt out, ready to throw in the towel, honey, and quite frankly, we want to dedicate ourselves to the soft life. But what if there was a way for us to achieve both time and financial freedom and also have a healthy, well-balanced life? What if you could secure the big bag, build a business that fuels you versus drains you, as well as build a solid network of business besties who want to support and motivate you while also centering self? This summit is the premier destination for the latest marketing, sales, and AI tools that can 10x your business while also nurturing your well-being. Learn from top experts from both business and wellness, including executives from the corporate sector, so that you can explore corporate-level opportunities that can elevate your business to new heights. Ensuring you're not just prepared, but fully equipped to dominate in 2025 and beyond. This is your opportunity for your business to thrive while you do too. Head over to securethebigbag.com to check out the agenda and all the heavy hitters that will be in the building. I cannot wait to see you in New York City, mi gente. It's go time. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you're gonna love the next one. So make sure to click right here and tap into the next episode.